Oh, good. Well, happy holidays. How was your Thanksgiving?
Oh, it was so good. It
Good.
was so good. I killed it.
You did.
I killed it.
You cooked?
Everybody had 3 plates. I
Oh my
killed it. Yeah. So I feel really good about
God.
it.
Okay. Well, congrats also now with holidays, making your directorial debut with your new movie
Yeah.
coming out. So tell me about Christmas Dilemma.
Okay. Christmas Dilemma is a story about a newly married couple played by BJ Britt and Brittany Hall. They play Jay and Monica, our hero couple. And they're like fresh out the gate. They've been married 3 months and it's Christmas and they're both trying to figure out what to do for Christmas. And they have basically opposing agendas. She wants to spend it with her family. He wants to spend it with his family. And their parents don't get along, so spending it together doesn't really work until it has to, because they all show up.
Okay.
And it's really like a very funny moment that I think a lot of people can relate to, is like this: when you're married, how do you choose? How do you blend? Who, you don't want to hurt feelings. And then certain people, it's like, well, Aunt so-and-so, this could be her last Thanksgiving. We got, so there's all of these things that pull at us. And so sorry. There's all these things. I think I'm here. There's all these things that pull at us, and it's really about the mayhem, right, that ensues when you don't have any choice. When the choice just shows up. It says, we're here.
Right. Deal with it. What was it like for you being behind the scenes?
Oh my gosh, so much fun.
Okay.
Man, I loved being a storyteller, and as an actor, that's my job. But as a director, it's to tell the story that I see. So I get to influence all the aspects of the story, from the sets to the lighting to the shots to the writing to the actors to the costumes, the hair, like all. I have a say, the props, like the rings, everything is a part of what I get to do and have a say so and choose and help other people flourish in their departments, right? Because you have department heads who execute all of these different areas of a film. And then my job as a director is, once it's been executed, then I reassemble it to make the picture that I saw in my mind. And so it's tremendous, tremendous fun. I had the best time. I had the best crew and the best cast. And I'm sure every director says that. But since I'm a new director, I'm going to say I had the best. And I can't wait to do it again. It was so fun. And the movie itself, I'm really proud of it. It's funny and it's very, very, very relatable.
Nice. And has it been on your mind for a while now to direct? And kind of, how does it come about? Like, do you kind of put the bug out there, then the right project comes, or how does it work?
I mean, I think that's how it comes about most of the time, but this was actually a phone call that came to me. I thought the production company that called me, Swirl Films in Atlanta, I've done a number of projects for them. I thought they were calling me about doing another film to a series that I'd been doing. So that when I picked up the phone, that was my expectation. I was like, oh, what's up?
Yeah.
And they were like, how would you feel about directing a Christmas movie? And I was like, terrified, but also excited.
Yeah.
That I've never done this before. And they said, yeah, we know that you've never directed before, but we know what kind of actor you are. And we believe that you're going to make a great director.
Wow. That's amazing.
I mean, right?
Yeah.
But then I still had to do a presentation and the network had to sign off on me. So I wasn't the only person who applied for the job, and I ended up getting the job, which is just, I had like a day and a half to prepare my vision to the network executive. Yeah. And like read the script. I mean, like a day and a half total. So read the script, prepare a vision, pitch a vision, like take notes, it was crunch time.
Yeah.
So,
Oh my goodness. So that makes me think. So I have also like a site and initiative I work on. It's called Be.Enough. And it's just based on the idea, like we question, are we good enough? Are we smart enough? Can we do different things? When there's a new challenge. So I'm thinking about you saying like you were terrified, and then it's almost like you didn't have time to be afraid, I'm guessing, with a day and a half. Like, how did you kind of make it happen and like push through that fear?
I mean, I won't even lie and tell you I didn't shed some tears. Like I definitely felt like, oh my gosh, how do I do this? I don't know what to do. I'm not really sure how. But at the same time, it's really interesting. My ex-husband gave me a great pep talk, and he said to me, he goes, if this has anything to do with organizing, you are the most organized person I've ever met in my whole life. And I was like, well, it does, and he was like, when it comes to execution, he goes, just make it better and don't cost them any money. And I was like, okay, yeah, I can do that too. And so that's really the place that I started from, was wanting to just know how to implement my vision and my perspective to make what was on the page come alive. And then also just the whole idea that, what I found in executing is that I definitely know more than I thought I did, because I have been doing this for so long, and I haven't been doing it in such a way where it's been just tunnel vision, right? Where I'm just like only concerned about me, only concerned about my character, only concerned about what I'm doing. I've always been a totalitarian in terms of my approach. I've always thought about the overall story, the overall execution, the overall process of making films and television. And that served me well. So I didn't even realize that skill set and the way that I was always approaching my work was of great benefit in terms of directing.
Yeah. And when was production?
So we shot in October. So we shot end of September into October, and then assembled the movie, and now it's airing Sunday, December 6th.
Nice. So how was that, the process? I mean, number one, shooting during COVID, but also
daunting. Shooting during a global pandemic.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah, it's a little overwhelming.
Yeah, and then also I think about this year I feel like people fall into camps of like, one set feels like their life is just put on hold, and then there's the other that's like, I have a new challenge, like I've pivoted, I've done something different. Kind of what camp do you feel like you fit in?
I definitely feel like I'm in the pivot. I have a new challenge. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I have not. There are definitely days that I have allowed myself to just wallow, right? Wallow in my own whatever, wherever it was. Sometimes it was fear, sometimes it was anxiety, sometimes it was just like sadness about some of the things that have occurred this year. And then you have to decide not to allow yourself to stay there.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's important that we acknowledge our challenges, particularly at a time of civil unrest, particularly at a time of, people losing their lives and so much tragedy. I don't think I would never recommend like, oh yeah, just push past it. Just go ahead and put one foot in front of the other. Like, there are days that you really do just need to sit with it and process and cry and talk it through, and pray, like really pray and release it. But you can't stay there. You can't stay there. And I'm definitely not one to stay anywhere where things are going to get the best of me. I think I have I'm a New Yorker, so I have grit. I have like tenacity. Everyone thinks because my television characters are always well polished that's my truth, but it isn't. You don't want to catch me in the wrong day at the wrong hour. I'm very, very feisty and very strong, but yeah, I don't believe in wallowing. I believe in processing.
Okay. Is that kind of, I was going to ask, because I follow you and I feel like you always have such like inspirational, I think thoughtful, posts that you share. I was like, I wonder if she has like a mantra or a saying or just something or practice even that has kind of gotten you through the year.
Love.
Okay.
Love yourself, love others, love those around you, love the people who curse you, who hate you, who undermine you, love. And that doesn't mean that you can't have boundaries, and it doesn't mean that you allow them to be close, but like love, it just helps you release stuff. You're not burdened with bitterness, because bitterness is a root that you can't put it in a box. Once you're bitter, that thing grows like, whatever. I don't have a green thumb, so I don't know what mold. like toxic mold.
Oh, yeah.
That bitterness is like toxic mold. I mean, it just spreads, and it's so there, it can't discern that the bitterness is only supposed to go towards others.
Yeah.
It'll be toxic to you too. So I think it's really important that we don't get stuck in that. And so just keep applying love, keep applying your own love to yourself. That's such an important salve to heal your own wounds and forgive your own mistakes and your own fallibility and your own, sometimes willing defiance. Like, it's not good for you and you still do it because you just want to cope or escape or whatever. Like, I just think it's really important. If there's one thing that I'm constantly trying to till, trying to plant, trying to harvest, trying to spread, it would be love.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that. I was thinking of all the love you got this summer with Half and Half being on Netflix coming there. People were so excited. Like, what did it feel like for you just seeing like people just going crazy?
Just awesome. I mean, it's so nice to have fresh eyes see it, and also the fans who loved it when it aired to have it again at their disposal and to be able to share it with people who didn't know about the show. I love the resurgence of it. I watch it now and I'm like, this is so funny. Like, this is smart, funny television, and I'm really proud of it. I'm really proud to have played a part in such a smart, funny show about Black women and the relationships of a blended family and the dysfunction of a blended family and kind of the roots that took place for Mona and Dee Dee in terms of like how they saw what happened between their parents and how they adopted that and took that on, and how it lived in their skin and in their perspective and processed that. I mean, that's one of the things that I love about series television is that, in a movie you have an hour and a half, 2 hours, sometimes 3 to go on a full journey. In a television show, you can have years of like really watching characters evolve and change and get hit with stuff. And I love that part of storytelling because it is serial. And I've always loved a serial story, a connected story that continues where the audience can see the growth in something.
Yeah. And you've been acting for so long, I think since like 14, is that right?
15, yeah.
Are you living like the dream you imagined? Did you see yourself as a lifelong actress, now director?
No, I just tried it on a whim. It was kind of like directing and I fell in love with it. Like my first professional audition I booked. Wow. I had no idea that I was going to be an actress. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to audition for this part because I'm going to be an actress. It's like, oh, that's so cool. I would love to be on the Cosby Show. And then next thing you know, I'm on the Cosby Show. I was like, oh, wow, I better learn how to do this thing that I'm falling in love with. And that's what I did. And I'm still learning. I'm still in class. You work with scene partners and collaborate with other artists and talk about plays and go to the theater. Like, I'm still I still have a beginner's hunger. Even though I've been doing this for a long time, I still feel like there's more to learn. There's more for me to grow and do and attempt, and try and fall flat on my face sometimes or execute well and surprise myself. And so directing has been like an interesting mirror to that because it's, again, my first time having something that like literally is airing this weekend and that I feel really good about, and that I'm working with people that I've known and that I respect, like Carl Anthony Payne. You guys know him as Coley Cole from Martin. He's so funny in this movie. He's so brilliant. And we'd worked together. We'd done a couple of plays together 10 years ago, longer than 10 years ago. And it was so nice to work with him again. And he's so talented and brilliant in this role. And to earn his respect in a new way, because he came in as an actor and I'm a first-time director and he knew that, but he came in and he was open and heard me, and then I executed. And at the end, he was like, congratulations, you killed it. And I was like, oh my God. I respect him so much as an artist, and to have, him and Christopher Duncan say the same thing, like somebody who's been around so long, who's so seasoned and I respect them so much. And BJ Britt, like as my leading man, like I just love his work and I love him as an individual, and we had never worked together. Oh, wow. And he was just he set such a great tone as our number one and really brought so much to the character that made it so much deeper and richer, and you fall in love with him and you feel so bad for him, and at the same time he makes you laugh watching him trying to navigate this chaotic space. But again, to win his respect as a director, like, it was so gratifying.
Yeah. And what do you think, you talked about still being hungry, and I think about like the environment today where like people are branding themselves as experts, like, immediately, like there's this pressure, right? Exactly. I see your face.
I think that's dangerous. I think that's dangerous because being good at something or having a gifting in something doesn't make you an expert. Expert is really about time. Expert is about weathering seasons. You know what I mean? Like when you're an expert at something, you've been through, it doesn't mean you're just, I think people have misrepresented what expert means, because when you're an expert at something, it's about being seasoned, not just being good at something, or gifted at something, and I think that's an important distinction. And it's important to have reverence and respect for the people who are actually experts, who have a body of work that isn't just about 1 million hits or 2 million views, but it's really about like they've been able to go through the periodic and the mercurial nature of the business and what's popular and what's in and what isn't, and sustain for decades. That's an expert.
Yes, exactly. Period. Yes. That was perfect. And thinking again, with your career, you've been in so many roles. That was the other thing with the Netflix excitement. It was like, oh, we'll see her in Moesha too. We'll see her in this.
Right.
Are there any roles we'd be surprised to know, like, you turned down, or like didn't go out for, or maybe something you tried for and didn't get?
Yes. Oh, okay. So I'll tell you, I screen tested for Baby Boy against Taraji.
Oh my goodness. Can we see the tape? Do you have your audition tape?
I don't. And, unfortunately, John is no longer with us, on the physical plane. So, but yeah, I screen tested with Tyrese, and John was there. And and I felt like, it's so funny because I remember when I was done, I felt like, oh, this is mine. And then I saw Taraji walk in and I was like, maybe not. Because we had worked together. She played my best friend on Smart Guy. And I knew how brilliant she was, and I knew how gifted she was. And so I wasn't surprised when she was cast, and she killed it. She was amazing in that film. But yeah, that's one of those almost.
Okay. Yeah. So what, now thinking about going forward, and you have, Christmas Limb under your belt, what are you hoping, next for your career?
I definitely want to direct again. So trying to find something to do with the network and some of the people that I worked with on Christmas Dilemma. We definitely want to collaborate again. But I'm actually getting ready to take off for Atlanta. I'm going to be working on second season of First Wives Club as an actress. So I'm going to be playing a recurring character, and I'm really excited about that. Getting to play with those women who I respect and admire so much. And I watched the whole first season, and I really feel great about working with Tracy Oliver, who you guys know, wrote Girls Trip, and she's new in the in the writer, producer, showrunner space. And I think she's doing great things. So I'm so excited about being under her helm and working with her. So
can you tell us about your character?
I'm like, okay, God, yes, God, yes.
Yes.
You do it.
Open the doors, yeah.
You do it, yeah.
And then lastly, even thinking about the theme of the film, choosing families to spend time with, I think that's also like a co-parent dilemma, we see with coronavirus, and thinking that how have you navigated, the holidays and that time co-parenting?
Well, I've been so blessed and fortunate because I am divorced, and we do share custody of our son, who's 8 turning 9, and his birthday's Christmas Day. Oh. So in the co-parenting space, what we've done is, since we haven't been together as a married couple, one of us has had him on Christmas Eve, and the other one has had him on Christmas Day, and we alternate every year.
Okay.
So we make a big deal. So, you know, my son is not one of those kids who's like, I hate that my birthday's on Christmas. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
That kid gets double everything. So he gets double everything from both of us. So he gets double. You know, so we make a really big deal out of his birthday. But I've also just been blessed in terms of having someone who puts our son first, and we work together, you know, and during this time, especially during COVID, because his family is primarily in Ohio and his immediate family lives in Las Vegas, and my family is in New York. So we've really had to, in the social distancing and in the interest of like keeping us safe and keeping our family safe, we've really had to rely on each other. Our son has not like gone into grocery stores or been anywhere. So it's like, if he's with me, then and if I need something, I'll either get it delivered or I can ask my ex-husband, hey, if you're at the grocery store, can you pick me up such and such? And so we've really worked as a team to make sure that all of us are taking care of us, all of us are supplied, all of us are safe, and all of us are tending to our son, who is the most vulnerable in terms of his understanding.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing. And I'm assuming school's at home for him or online.
School is in my backyard.
Oh.
I have turned my guest house into a little classroom. His school closed permanently due to funding. It was a private Christian school. They lost their funding unexpectedly in July. We were expecting to send him back. He'd been going there since he was 2.5. And I was given the idea by the Holy Spirit to empty my guest house that was fully furnished and functioning as a guest house. And now it's a classroom. So my son and 8 of his friends are back there learning.
Incredible. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've pivoted a lot.
I pivoted a lot. Yeah. And so have the parents, like the kids, the other kids, the other 8 students, their parents are amazing. And we, again, work as a village. Every day we hired one of the teachers who lost her job unexpectedly. And we hired one of the teachers that found themselves unemployed. And then for her recess and their lunch break, one of the parents of one of the kids comes in and sits with them for an hour. So every day there's a parent here with the kids at recess. And then one of the dads was in the Navy and he comes and teaches PE twice a week. And then one of the moms is a pediatric nurse and she like gave us safety protocols and make sure that we take temperatures and that we're, you know, doing things as safely as possible. So I mean, it's an amazing assembly of these 7 little families working together to give our kids this experience.
Yeah, kudos to you all. That sounds amazing. Yeah. Well, thank you.
Pivot.
I learned about 5 lessons in this 20 minutes that I need.
Yeah.
But thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Looking forward to the premiere. Have a good Christmas.
You too.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.